The rest of the 2026 TV schedule has some big classic book adaptations on the way, and Netflix will soon take viewers back to the 19th century with Little House on the Prairie. Not all adaptations are created equal, however, and the upcoming series is facing a challenge that HBO's Harry Potter show is likely to avoid. Little House on the Prairie source material isn't so straightforward when it comes to the ages of the characters, and Stranger Things famously faced the opposite kind of problem. The smash sci-fi hit took nearly a full decade to release 5 seasons. That meant actors like Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard in Stranger Things Season 5 cast were visibly older than their characters should have been. Netflix's Little House on the Prairie reboot has plenty of source material from author Laura Ingalls Wilder to adapt, but the young cast for the first season makes it difficult to imagine Little House advancing to some of Wilder's best books later in the series. For Little House on the Prairie, actors looking too young rather than too old could be the issue for a full adaptation. How Harry Potter is avoiding book adaptation issue with its young actors. The HBO adaptation of J.K. Rowling's series followed the example of the successful film franchise in one key way. The Harry Potter show's main cast are young kids who will grow up with their characters. Each book of the novel saga follows 1 year of young Harry's life. The timeline of 7 seasons for 7 successive books should be straightforward. HBO's Harry Potter release schedule should allow the TV show more leeway than Little House as an adaptation. Fans of the movies saw Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint grow up with their characters over the years without huge time jumps. The situation seems to be similar for the TV show, if there aren't too many production complications. Admittedly, one HBO executive's comments about how long the Harry Potter series will take to produce do mean that viewers won't be getting 1 season each year. The kids who start the show around the same ages as their characters will be older than them by the time Book 7, The Deathly Hallows, is adapted. Other HBO shows haven't taken that approach, to their detriment. The otherwise excellent His Dark Materials adaptation of Philip Pullman's novels took long enough to complete that stars Daphne Keane and Amir Wilson were visibly older in the last season. The Last of Us sidestepped the issue by casting Bella Ramsey as Ellie. The star looked young enough to play 14-year-old Ellie in Season 1, as well as post-time jump Ellie for Season 2. So, the lack of time jumps any longer than a few months in Harry Potter's source material means that viewers won't have to suspend their disbelief about characters suddenly looking much older, like what happened with Stranger Things, or not looking old enough, like what may happen for Little House on the Prairie. Why changes to Little House on the Prairie's source material are likely. Little House on the Prairie's cast seems pretty perfect for the first book in Laura Ingalls Wilder's semi-autobiographical series. The actors don't all look like the characters as described on the page, but the trailer indicates that the cast for the Ingalls family will be a great unit. Alice Halsey, who delivered a standout performance opposite Brie Larson in Apple TV's Lessons in Chemistry, stars as young Laura, alongside Skywalker Hughes as Mary Ingalls. Luke Bracey certainly has the aura of Charles Ingalls in Screen Rant's summer TV premiere, but Bracey isn't one of the actors whose age could present a problem moving forward. The same is true for Crosby Fitzgerald as Caroline Ingalls. The young actors, whose ages are perfect for Laura Ingalls Wilder's Little House on the Prairie novel, aren't quite perfect for future books in the 9-part series. There are time jumps between books, which means that the show will either have to make big changes from the source material, or viewers will have to suspend their disbelief. The original Little House TV show had no qualms about making big changes to the source material, so perhaps the Netflix project will also go in its own direction. The potential problem is that The Long Winter, Little Town on the Prairie, and arguably These Happy Golden Years are some of Wilder's best books, with some time jumps. Laura needs to be significantly older than Alice Halsey might look for those later books in the series. It's hard to imagine that the show wouldn't tweak the ages of Laura and/or Almanzo, if he makes it into the show, from their real-life age difference. That could mean the show needing Laura on screen to be even older than the book version when those events play out in the show. Still, previous Netflix adaptations of classic series do give reasons to be optimistic about Little House on the Prairie, no matter what changes have to be made. And with an E, starring Amy Beth McNulty, was a great telling of the end of Green Gables books despite time jumps and changes to the source material. Since Little House on the Prairie is far more similar to and of Green Gables than Harry Potter, perhaps what worked for and with an E will work for Little House. It's worth noting that Netflix has already renewed Little House on the Prairie for Season 2, and even cast Laura's iconic nemesis from the books for the next chapter of the show. The future seems bright at this point, despite challenges ahead. The Netflix take on Laura Ingalls Wilder's most